Welcome friends to Beedrill, the Beans Destroying Reproachable Lithos initiative. We have a near endless supply of these little guys, and our goal is to break the rock. By smacking it several times we get money and break it. But how? Hello Gnorps, today we learn about honing your physical prowess, or, to be simple, gym. Our earliest records indicate that around 2000 BC, over 4,000 years ago, the Egyptians formally introduced structured acrobatics and fitness training. You will be training to hit the rock and deliver the payload of shards. Shards are our currency, and to make more of you suckers, I need a lot. By tossing shards and hitting rocks, you will be trained to knock shards out of the rock and then carry them to the stash. The stash is where I keep all my shards. But that's not enough. We need invention. We need Gnorp's greatest weapon before gunpowder. And after, but more on that later. Around 12,000 years ago, humans invented archery, and I will be needing 4 brave Gnorps volunteers to shoot the rock with one of our oldest inventions, fire. Turns out, rocks burn very well. As we progress to the point that we were doing too well, the rock fights back and reclaims its shards. However, we are blessed with Zybellium, a resource our top scientists will analyze and apply in the best ways I see fit. I land on fire breath. You see, a small application of Zybellium applied to the hot-headed slammers will make them breathe fire when they are on a hot combo streak. This is a completely painless process. I promise applying the Zybellium has never harmed me. The applications of Zybellium are very broad. We can time travel, breathe fire, give psychic powers to Gnorps, and even grow plants. Hey, friend. If you like my content at any point in this video, subscribe. For now, I will give one lucky Gnorp psychic powers. He will be inspired by the runners to deliver 40% of whatever they do to the stash. With that last bonus, it is time to evolve as a society. By prestiging, we can spend hard-earned prestige points, earned by collecting shards, on many fascinating options. The destruction of the rock has 2 stats, damage and range. Damage is how many shards are broken off, and range is how far they fly. Both are very important stats because more shards is more money, and the closer they are to the stash, the quicker we collect it. 2 prestige points will be spent on making the fire better. 1 on having more Gnorps and slowing the rock's reclamation process. 2 on slammers dealing more damage, and 1 on time travel. With those prestige points spent, our fire goes farther and does more. Our slammers are motivated to improve, and jetpacks. Gnorps invented jetpacks for slammers, who decided jumping at the rock was not enough. See, these brave Gnorps have volunteered, of their own free will, to dive bomb from near orbit for the sake of smashing into the rock at Mach speeds. By stashing some Zybellium in the fuel supply, the high-speed impact actually reverts time by a few seconds and lets the Gnorp smash the rock again in quick succession. In order to make up for this time travel to the past, the time-space continuum will send nearby Gnorps hurtling into the future to solve for this imbalance. The runners are soon to join the party of improvements. But what can runners do? Runners will be participating in cheats, the greatest program of our time. Gnorp's expedited express throw sometimes. The runners will cheat materials into the stash, but that's not all. We will buy ICBRDs, Intercontinental Ballistic Rock Destroyers, that are built out of shards. I use the shards to obtain the shards. The Gnorps will jeet the shards to the missile silo, funding the further destruction of the rock. As we prestige for more sweet points, I realized pressing the F keys changed the screen color, and I set it to dark mode, the best mode for all programs. I spend my 3 prestige points on foundational technologies. I make guns useful by allowing them to shoot arrows. I make fire cold so that I can burn the rock without melting ice. And I get infinite reverberation. More on that later. Ice and fire cannot coexist. But if we make fire cold, I do not see why they couldn't. Now we light the rock on fire and freeze, so damage is stored and it shatters a few seconds later into one massive blast of shards. This is helpful for causing compression events. I skipped over guns because they pale in comparison to the power of arrows. Would you rather shoot a rock or light it on fire with an arrow? That's right, light it on fire. Much better. The extra compressions get enough money for the garden. We can infuse plants with Zybellium to apply special effects to our Gnorps. Unfortunately, Gnorps that drink this juice only ever have one fate: death. This way, there are more incentives to hurt the rock as much as possible before they die. Many prestige points are earned through this method for one specific reason. What is it? Hold on, the transition isn't working. Did it go? Okay, I think oh, so now it works, funny. It seems like my classroom is being tampered with. Anyways, if I find out who did it, I'm going to make them drink the green juice. Infinite reverberation. The Gnorps who drink the red juice get super strong and can send shockwaves through the ground before they fade into oblivion. These shockwaves then travel through the shard pile and shove mass quantities of shards into the stash, almost making runners useless. This grinds out many prestige points that we will soon reinvest to make the rock die faster. After the next prestige, we receive a legend that tells us there's a shrine, and this shrine holds a sword, and there is a Gnorp worthy of pulling this sword from the shrine. From a stone, if you will. But, unfortunately, we have to test the worthiness of some Gnorps. Of course, the Gnorps are completely fine with this, as the legend is worth dying for. 9 Gnorps will be sent at a time to see if any of them are worthy. Once one is deemed worthy, he can make decrees for the price of a few Gnorps. Only 1 accord is allowed at a time, minimizing our allowed investment to be 4 Gnorps. More can be employed at a farm to change the active accord. With all of that done, we only need to orchestrate the perfect loadout for a run to ultimately break the rock. Gnorp sacrifice must be unfortunately maximized for the sake of this mission. See, there is one upgrade I have yet to show you. Pocket rockets. Using 2 prestige points and a few Zybellium, we can maximize the bomber's efficiency. I've already introduced you to the first one. Time shift. It lets bombers hit the rock in extra time and send runners into the future at the same time. It would usually negate a Zybellium purchase labeled pocket rockets. Fortunately, if we coat the whole bomber in Zybellium, the pocket rockets are bound to him temporally. This creates a paradox that lets him not only keep his rockets, but accrue more as he time shifts, breaking the time-space continuum and forever ruining the psyche of the Gnorp. These are the risks that they must take for me to break the rock. Once everything is in its place, this is what it looks like to break the rock. First, click the rock, deposit shards, and buy some runners. Get the propulsion and the lab for collecting Zybellium. Buy archery and fire arrows for early and late game cash. Spam bombers and buy time shift impact. Once you have done a few compressions, buy Jeet and the rocket silo to unlock pocket rockets on the bombers. With pocket rockets installed, you need to maximize damage and get the final compression so that the rock becomes destroyable. But how do you destroy the rock? The railgun, of course. I will need 2 brave Gnorp volunteers to man the railgun for the rest of their lives. See, to maximize the shards, we cannot actually destroy the rock. We need to damage it continuously, thus generating infinite shards. Hey, why did the lights go out? What are you doing? Get off me. Looks like I'm in a predicament. It's nothing I can't sort out. The Gnorps, after all, are stupid. Hey, where are you taking me? No, don't put me in there. Well, crap. Looks like I'm going to be the first railgun test subject. You guys are going to let me out once you know it works, right? Right? I guess this is where I spend the rest of my life. In a railgun, drilling into a rock. For the Gnorps who I created. I don't deserve this. I laid down my time for them. The least they could do is die for me. Huh. That was a weird dream. Anyways, time to play the Gnorp Apolouge. Welcome, friends, to Beedrill, the Beans Destroying Reproachable Lithos initiative. We have a near endless supply of these little guys.